Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Stitches and Stencils today. It is also series 19 of 30 Days of Sketches. Today is day 25 and I am using the sketch of the day by Brandi Jo and I am rotating it. So aside from also rotating it, I am pulling in those bands of color on the outer edge and bringing them in to my photos, which are going to make a column right down the middle. My photos are all the same size, rather than being two smaller and one larger. I am doing the diagonal design of the embellishments, but I am basically flipping it. So my upper embellishments are on the left hand side, my lower embellishments are on the right. Hopefully that explains what I'm doing. As you see it all come together, hopefully you can see where the inspiration came from. I am using some Daniel Smith watercolor in my watercolor pan. I'm just using the leftover blue that was already in this pan. I don't use these watercolors super frequently, just I don't know why. They are beautiful watercolors. They're very high quality. I did get them from a class that I took years and years ago. I don't know why I don't grab for them as more often, but using just some watercolor inside of this Drippy Stencil from Sandi over at Scrap and Reflections. And I believe Sandi is still playing along with MK and I, although I haven't talked to her in a little bit, so I don't know if she's got a video for you today, but MK and I are both doing Stitches and Stencils, and check Sandi's channel as well. She may also have a Stitches and Stencils video for you. So I'm using her stencil. I'm going to do some stitching at the very end. I did not capture the stitching on screen, but you will see me pulling the threads through the back of the layout and doing a little bit of taping them down, and you'll see the stitching in the close-ups. So I apologize I didn't capture it on screen. So I have 3 photos of the little kids I take care of and their parents on the lake, and I love doing these kind of photos. A lot of times the photos that I have are just of me with them or something that I capture them doing, but every once in a while I get sent over the photos from an outing that they did with the whole family, or just, you know, mom or dad and one of them. And I love that because I really want those in their albums, as well as just the photos that I take, right? So this is the bigger part of their life, actually, because while they are with me during the day, you know, mom and dad are going to be around forever, and that sadly might not be my case. So hopefully mom and dad are around forever, but yeah, trying to get more pictures of their parents into their albums. And you know, as a mom, you're rarely in the album because you're the one usually taking the pictures. So this 2 upper photos have pictures of their mom in them as well. So I think that's fantastic. And they're just boating on the lake. So I went to some assemblage required outdoorsy type of items, outdoor activities. I have one for outdoor activities and one for just outdoors. So that would be like trees and leaves and nature and stuff. And this one is actually activities like fishing and going to the lake and all that. I did find this piece that says I think it says life is better at the lake. Something like that. You would think I would know because I just did this layout a few days ago. But I also have the fish, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to use these fish for because I don't go fishing. I've used fishing photos before, like faux fishing, like the kids are using a stick and pretending they're fishing. But I wasn't really sure what I was going to use these ones for. They look like big mouth bass. I could not tell you for sure. Maybe they're something else, but they got really big open mouths. Maybe they're catfish. Who knows? I obviously don't know my fish. I don't really eat a ton of fish. Just my husband's severely allergic, so it's not something we have in the house often. So to go fishing would be kind of pointless because he can't eat it anyway. But anyway, I thought these would be perfect to do a little wordy bit that says that the kids are fish, because they really are. All of these kids, they actually have some of their family friends' kids in the photos as well, people that they do a lot of activities with. And all of these kids, both families have pools in their backyard. They all swim a lot. And so going to the lake and spending time in the water at the lake is one of their family activities. And so I definitely wanted to capture that. And I thought the fish would do a good job just to have that, you know, these kids are fish type of a saying over there. You can see I did pull out a couple of dies. I don't know where these wave dies came from. I was gifted them from somebody, and they weren't not in original packaging. They were like a hand-me-down gift, which was great. I love those kind of things. And they're super usable for a lot of water activities, including, you know, beach, boating, cruising, all that kind of stuff, splashing in the pool, whatever, splashing in the bath even. And so I love them, and I went ahead and inked them up with a couple of different colors of ink. The first one is a Gina K ink in powder blue. That's the little square that's sitting on my desk. And then I had another blue, a green, it's actually more green, color on my blending brush, and I went ahead and went over them with that as well, just to kind of give it a greener blue. Now the top photo, the powder blue matched perfectly, but the two bottom photos, the water looks more green in it, like a, yeah, bluey green. And so that's why I went ahead and changed the color, even though the watercolor is the lighter blue. And I think it looks fine. It works well. It actually helps those blue waves to pop a little bit. I did also ink them up with a little black soot just to give a little bit of definition to the edges so you can see them kind of like a drop shadow would look. And I think they work really well. And then I'm just going to work on tucking my fish in and my other wood veneer piece. So I basically put a very thin line of glue along the bottom of these die cut pieces. I also checked to make sure that they were on the straight page straight, at least the bottom one. And I went ahead and tucked the graduating larger sizes behind. And that's going to give me a little room to tuck stuff in because only that very bottom edge has glue on it. At least that's my thinking. So it takes me a little bit to kind of get everything tucked in the way I want it, but not for lack of doing the gluing properly or anything like that. It was just because those little edges of the waves kept getting caught up and I couldn't see where they were getting caught up. But I think this was still maybe the best way to do this. I guess I could have started with the top one and worked my way down instead of working my way up, but for whatever reason this is how I did it, so it's done now. I went ahead and took the masking off of my wood veneer pieces off screen so you don't see that. There is a masking on the top of all of those wood veneer pieces. You got to peel it off, and that's going to reveal the true color of the wood because some of the wood is darker than others. She's got multiple kinds of wood in the Some Assemblage Required shop, and they are just beautiful. And then they are adhesive backed, so all I have to do is peel and stick. So once I get those stuck down, they are pretty much stuck down and not going anywhere. They're very difficult to peel off if you don't put them down in the right place, especially if they're on a surface like the photo, which is a little bit tacky, not tacky, but glossy. And then I did also cut out a pair of sunglasses. This is from an Elizabeth Craft Design set. I have this see-through film that is kind of like a transparency, a little thinner than a transparency, that is kind of the same color as your sunglasses, and so that's what I cut that out of. I also used a piece of it to cut these two pieces of film strip out. Do I have other film strip in my stash? Yes. Did I want to dig it out? No. So I used a die from the Arden Creative company and just went ahead and cut these out. I just needed a single piece and not a whole strip, and I didn't feel like I wanted to cut apart one of the strips from 49 and Market. So I just went ahead and used the die from Arden Creative and cut it out that way. And to cut the film, I did put the white piece behind it so that it would go through really well. Otherwise, the film wasn't cutting perfectly. And so I decided to go ahead and use that white piece as well and just ink it up with a little extra orange that was already left over on my brush. And so I think that works very well also. And here's where I kept getting my pieces kind of caught up, and it took me a little bit of finagling to get it in the right spot. But I eventually get it there and it works out just fine. I'm liking how it's looking so far. I'm keeping these kind of simple. I'm not doing a big title or anything like that. I think the wood veneer serves as its own title in this particular case, but I am going to pull out my little typewriter. I have a vintage typewriter, and I've had it on camera before, but it's been quite some time. But I do have a vintage 25 or 27 typewriter, and I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to just use one of the 4.5 by 6.5 inch cards that I used to back photos with. They're the photo mats from Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to use that to do my journaling, and I'm just typing each sentence and putting a couple of spaces between each sentence so that I can cut them apart and have them look like word strips. And I really like the way that they come out. So you're going to see those at the end. I do keep my typewriter in its case covered because I will tell you, in my area, it is very expensive to get these typewriters serviced. And with the amount of dog and cat hair that we sometimes accumulate in our house, in spite of all of the vacuuming that we do, I just want to keep it really nice and clean. Also, it has that typewriter oil smell, and I don't really want my whole craft room to smell like typewriter oil. So, you know, keeping it in its case it serves two purposes. And it's really easy to pull out. It's just, I have a Billy bookshelf, and it's sitting on the bookshelf on one shelf, pretty much all by itself. Every once in a while I set something on top of it, just waiting to be put away. But yeah, in most cases it's just sitting on the shelf, ready to pull out, pop the top off, and use it. Would I use it more if it was out and exposed? Maybe. If it had its own like station or whatever, might just do that. But really, it's not that hard to pull out. I just get lazy. So I took my page over to my sewing machine. You can see I've stitched around the outside, although I did not do complete stitches on the top and bottom. I did both sides. The top and bottom, I kind of went with the diagonal of the embellishment clusters and did that. And then I did do a stitching line underneath the one of the journaling lines on each side, just to give it kind of like an underline or a little bit of extra notice. And then I had this roll of washi sitting next to me, and it says Good Vibes on it, and it's the right color. So I used it on the back, and then I thought, oh, I'm going to use that on the front as well. And I also went ahead and date stamped it because I'm trying to be better about that as well. When I put layouts away, it's much easier if they're already date stamped. That is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Check out MK and Sandy and everyone playing along with 30 Days of Sketches. All the links are below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.